More than.
In which case, yeah, that should be that. Oh, he's drinking water. He's having a delightful time. Oh, that's the other thing that I usually do. I usually make it so that we're side by each. There we are. Now we're side by each. Now I'm curious. Ah. Oh, good. It automatically went. Delightful. Subscriptions. No, that's not me. Huh. Well, okay. That can confirm that it's actually working.
Good.
Thanks, sir. Got it. Can probably shut up. There we are. Now we're side by each. Now. And it should have us both in there for sound. Give me another sound check, and we'll test it on the live stream here.
Okay. We're going to be looking at double IPAs this evening.
We are going to be looking at double IPAs. I'm
Yes.
excited
One.
because
Oh, yeah.
I started liking double IPAs. It's a thing.
It was high on my list of things to talk about, how ridiculous it is that we're both now double IPA fans. Who'd have thunk it a year ago?
It's been a goodly time. Who would have thought starting this 2 years ago, just having a beer up here on the deck, which we forgot to do last year. We didn't get around to the beer on the deck last year.
I know. I said I'll get one in before the summer's out. Spend an evening chatting with you on your deck while the sun filters through that beautiful big weeping willow behind. I was really looking forward to it, and it's one of those things that you say, yeah, it was plenty of time. We'll get around to it, and then time just kind of gets away from you. I spent 3 whole years, Ross, in Cyprus in my early 20s. Okay, and which is a lovely island by itself, but it's not too far. It's probably not. I wouldn't call it exactly a stone's throw, but it's certainly a boat journey away from Egypt. Okay, people used to go to the Tomb of the Kings and to those big triangular things.
It's a big island, though.
Oh, Cyprus?
Yeah,
not really, not that big. No, but they used to go there for just say, hey, let's go down there on Friday evening and come back on sort of Sunday evening. And I said, I've got 3 years. I'll get to Egypt. I'll go and see the pyramids before I leave. And it's, 3 years turned into 2 years, turned into 1 year. And of course, I've been kicking my ass ever since, thinking one of the great wonders of the world. And I had many, many weekends where I thought, I'll stay here and have a few beers with the boys instead, and didn't get to see them. What an idiot! It's not. I'm not going to. By the way, I'm not equating that to not managing to have a beer on your deck with you under the weeping willow. But that's.
You're
just put me in mind.
Oh, regret. Okay, yeah, we can talk about regret. I have a few of those. And in fact, my story of regret is not one of regret. It's one of everyone else asking me if I regret the thing. Because I will say, oh yeah, I spent a winter living in Ottawa. I had a co-op term there. And everyone says, well, did you skate down the Rideau Canal? And I say, no. Do I feel like I missed out on anything really impressive and amazing by not skating on the Rideau Canal? No. Have we frozen Ian? Oh, we lost Ian already. Oh no. That's off to a tremendous start. Well, that's okay. Once we get him back, we will start proper. My nose is running. When did I sneeze? I sneezed only a few minuets ago. Are you going to have a little bit more of that? Go for it. I am joined here by my son, who is off camera at the moment. Maybe, I finally have nibbles. That's going to ruin the beer completely. I give Ian a hard time for nibbling on peanuts, but
I know you were chatting away there.
Oh, it wasn't about anything entirely.
But Amsterdam, you mentioned. I'd gone off my Wi-Fi. I thought, no, I'm not going to bother with that all evening. What I did notice, though, was when I've done this in the past, has the audio or the video been affected for it? I kind of think it has been
When you
as a
drop
result
or
of
when
going
you
to
go off Wi-Fi?
Go off Wi-Fi. I think the video links. I'm a bit more blurry, a bit more grainy as a result. I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining it.
I'm here for the podcast crowd. It's audio only. I feel like it's more audio than visual. I don't know why I've decided that, but I just sort of claim it. You have another one of those?
Yeah. I'll have to listen to. I'll have to listen to this back again afterwards to find out your little Amsterdam anecdote. I think it was Amsterdam you were talking about.
Ottawa. I was asked if
Amsterdam, same thing.
I spent a winter living in Ottawa, and everyone always asks me if I skated down the Rideau Canal. And I say, no, I did not.
Is it a thing that people do in Ottawa?
Oh yeah, it's according to everyone, because I say things like I went to Parliament Hill. You know, I attended a Canada Day concert. I was at a rock concert on Parliament Hill on Canada Day. And everyone says, yeah, but did you skate on the stupid river? I'm like, no. It's cold. I didn't want to skate on the river in the middle of winter. No, thank you.
Canada is often cold in the winter. I've noticed that. One thing I have noticed being here for 16 years.
It comes up. It doeth. Although I was happy last February, we had our polar vortex. And in the polar vortex, we finally got to do the thing that we've only ever seen was advertised in Manitoba. We took a boiling pot of water out onto the deck, tossed it in the air, and it snowed. It just...
Yeah.
I've never done that myself. I've only ever seen it in video, so that was cool. And then the polar vortex
I bet they're doing that all over the place.
All the farmers were
They're doing that in Alberta, I'm sure, right now, because it's been Jurassic.
If they're warm enough to go outside, oh man, yeah, like they're talking about it's affecting the power grid. It's pretty bad. Regardless, we should probably get away and get to the drinking, to the important stuff. I am Ross. Joining me is my co-host Ian, and also joining me is my nearly 1-year-old son Wesley, who will not be drinking Nova Scotia Dry. However, Ian and I will. That was longer than it probably should have been, and he's off camera. He's sitting over here. But I was going to mention how you always say you have nibbles to eat.
Yes.
I finally do as well, because I'm stealing goldfish crackers off my son's tray.
Oh, nice. Goldfish crackers. I like those. I'd sometimes buy a box of those and just nibble those away. Yeah, no, big approval here. They're in the orange packet, aren't they? The goldfish crackers. It's something I've only had since I've been here in Canada. It's blue. Why am I thinking it was orange?
Because goldfish crackers that I have never enjoyed, they come through. Oh, there we go. And oops, they come through as super cheddar flavored. And I don't like those. So when I was looking at, Brittany says, oh, you should get him some goldfish crackers. I think he likes those. I said, all right, fine. And I saw there was 9 different flavors of cheddar. There was super cheddar. There was extreme cheddar. There was 8 cheddar different versions. And try this. It's aged cheddar. These ones, they said original. And I went, that's it. We're starting at the base level and we'll move our way up. Because I don't like... And not so much Ritz crackers, but that fake cheese flavor, especially in a cracker, I do not like it. So, I tried these. He's dropping stuff on the floor already. You're doing great. Oh, is this you telling me that you're already done? He's already done, and we haven't even started. It is double IPA night. And it's not often that we have more than one double IPA down in the hopper, is there?
I can't remember when did we last do our double IPA night? That was the Space Words, wasn't it? That was a double IPA by Two Crows.
That was a triple IPA night.
Was that a triple?
That was the triple IPA night. I had a double IPA because Ananda and I had the Vickers Cross one night. That's the big the DIPA that's there.
Yeah.
But there's quite a few. Propeller's got a couple, so I think this is a thing that we can get into now that we've decided, hey, if IPAs aren't all terrible and they seem to get better the more so a double IPA is slightly more flavorful, and then the triple IPA we both loved. So I think that I'm going to enjoy an exploration of double IPAs.
So do I.
And we've decided to start extremely locally by ones that are pretty much within a stone's throw. Well, not a stone's throw, but I don't know, an exuberant bike ride distance from both of our establishments. But the less alcohol percentage of the two is Horton Ridge, the Horton Ridge Malt House with Big Malt Energy double IPA coming in at 7.2%. Now, I've forgotten to look anything up, so all it's got here is okay. Maybe I better look up Horton. Whoops, Horton Ridge. Well, I was trying to get myself all set up, and I was trying to get my son to see if he was going to go to sleep, and that did not happen. So then I had to quickly.
I suggest, if you wanted to do that, maybe you could introduce him to some craft ales. I mean, he's got to start eventually. You can't hold off much longer. And why not go big or go home and give him half a glass of double IPA to start him off with? Maybe the left of the two, the 7.2 rather than the 9.
It's a good point. I don't think I'm going to do that, especially not in a this is for recording, this is for posterity, and we have this for forever and always. It's not listed at HortonRidgeMalt.com. All's away DIPA. So yeah, it just seems to be a rotating tap, and I'm just unsure what September 1st. Okay, so maybe something here. I'm looking, it's in the Atlantic Canada Beer blog. Lone Oak, Mosley, Trailway to maybe. I don't think it's in here.
You've got no information.
I've got no information. It's a 355 milliliter can. You can get it at Horton Ridge Malt House. I'm assuming that it's going to taste a little bit hoppy. But honestly, what I enjoy about the Malt House, this is what I was going to compare, is the two breweries. The Horton Ridge Malt House, everything I've tried from there seems to be emphasized to malt forward. And I like that. The theme of the brewery is malt.
Okay. So
I was sort of hoping that this one would continue to be a malt forward. It's
certainly more, obviously with the double IPAs, there's twice the amount of malt anyway, than the single IPAs. I say twice the amount. I mean, there is considerably more malt than there is in the single IPAs, and also twice as many hops as well, as it happens. But as a result, of course, that more of that lovely sugar that's in the malt then is quickly turned into the old alcohol. But it tends to be a far smoother drink, as we've learned, drinking the double IPAs than the single IPAs. As a result, the malt is definitely more caramel. There's caramelly stuff going on, and that you associate with malty beers that you don't really get with the single IPAs. I'm hoping, like you, that this follows suit.
It smelled a little bit hoppy to me at first. Is what has occurred. Ooh. Yeah, I'm ruining my appetite by
glass. I didn't have a 355 glass because it would have just been dwarfed by the other one. So I've gone ahead and just dumped it all into this this regular glass. It's going to be swamped by it. It does kind of really highlight. Tell you what, yours looks pretty good.
I think this is the 16 ounce. This is pretty sure this is the 16 ounce pint.
Okay, well that's all mine in there.
Also, and it's not actually a pint.
I did notice, of course, it said on the front the old can, organic. It's I'm guessing unfiltered because it's got some. It's not a hazy IPA,
it's not,
but it has.
It's got a bit of a cloud to it, which is delightful.
Yeah, it's cloudy, so that's what I'm going on here. And we both love a bit of that. We don't mind that.
It smells a bit like a slightly weak IPA. It's got the hoppy nature, the bitterness to it. I'm not sure which hops they used because I have not been able to look up anything on this, but it also doesn't smell strong. I don't know if that makes any sense for 7.2, but we'll see.
Instead it's like smells like a weaker IPA. That's because I think just because of the smoothness, as we've come to experience now, it's not immediately. You don't put it in your mouth and immediately get citrus going whack right up your nose. It's a far smoother experience altogether.
Is it a really good beer, or are we just starting to like this kind of beer? I'm starting to question everything, because maybe a couple of years ago, if I drink some of the ones that I thought were gross 2 years ago, I might think, oh, you know what? No, these are really good now.
Well, then the ship is sailing by all accounts, because IPAs have peaked and they're falling off, and Ross is now deciding, yeah, I'm finally coming around to them. But of course, as I read recently, I forget where it was. I read this. Maybe it was actually last week. I think it was. I read this online. 60% of beers now sold of craft brews are now IPA. 60%.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, isn't it? When you consider all the other types of beers available in craft world, 60% is now IPA. That's crazy.
There's not many wheat beers. No one's making the Dunkelweissens. Those are definitely the one-offs that we seem to find.
Yeah.
Much ado about nonsense. We haven't even gotten ourselves into it. I am all set. There is a lovely caramel at the tail end of the smell here, and I don't think that's just all the sweet tasting treats that my son is eating over there on his chair.
I'm going in, Ross.
Yeah, all right. Charles.
I'm going in.
There's that bitter in the middle.
It's quite fruity, surprisingly. I would have expected it. It does have the carameliness, the smoothness.
Very caramel sweetness to it. This is...
Yeah, but it's still got that fruitiness that an IPA has.
Just a bit up front.
Already I'm thinking, oh, I like this already. Yeah. Oh, in fact, it's coming in now. Caramel's even stronger toward the back.
It really is. It strengthens. Oh, yeah. If you told me that this was just a caramel IPA, I'd say, yep, that's what you did. You made a caramel IPA. I love that. I know a lot of people, especially IPA drinkers, might not like a sweet taste to it, but this is a welcome surprise. I was not figuring for the sweet.
Yeah, that's smooth.
Oh, yeah, it does not linger. Well, I've got a bit of a linger, but I can't tell. Is there a burn of a 7.2% alcohol in there? I'm getting a little bit of a whoo. That's fiery.
Well, maybe.
Could be, perhaps.
We'll find out when the 9 comes along and kicks its ass.
Yeah, that'll be curious when that happens.
Yeah, I find that. Oh yeah, no, I see what you're getting at. There is a latent sort of. Yeah, like you drink, like you've just had a bit of hard liquor. To be honest, and it's so slowly sort of your throat now seems warm as a result of it.
Yeah, I can't tell if it's just my imagination doing that. I'm sort of thinking, oh, is it getting warm in here? Am I just having a very, very strong beer? Perhaps I'm not. I couldn't think of a reason to stop drinking it. I was trying to take gulp after gulp, and I thought this continues to be really easy to drink. So just the small 355 can, you could slam one of these down quickly, smoothly, with no aftertaste. It wouldn't hurt.
Did yours come straight from your pool room to the table? Did you cool it down at all in the fridge?
In fact, I let it sit upstairs for a bit longer, so it might even be a bit closer to room temperature.
Oh, okay. That's not such a bad thing, because I only put mine in the fridge about 20 minutes to 8. So, and I didn't put it in the freezer. I just put it in the fridge. So just to cool, and otherwise it started at room temperature. So this is how I like my beer.
Well, especially one that's going to have this lovely caramel taste to it. This is outstanding.
That's right. You couldn't freeze this down because you wouldn't have anything in it. It's you get everything when it's a little warmer like this. It's lovely.
I wonder what would be in it. What it would taste like if it was ice cold. Sometimes I wish, from now on, maybe we should be buying 4 beers. one to drink ice cold and one to drink at her preferred.
You dipsomaniac. You just want to get more beer in your... We need to drink 4 double IPAs this evening. Is that what you're saying? 2 that are almost frozen and 2 at room temperature.
Well, you could... I mean, yeah, that's sort of... Well, that came up when we were talking to Rob last week, and because when I point out and I ask the brewers each time if they want to be on the show, they always say, well, why don't you come into the shop and we'll try a bunch of beers? And I said, okay, listen, we used to do the show here and Ian would come around, but then he started to become concerned that as we drank stronger and stronger beers, we needed an opportunity to be able to drive home safely and legally, and
or get a lift.
It was a concern. It was a legit concern. So the few times that we've done things on premises since then, we have tried to rope in the designated drivers. But this is why these video meetings, these video chats, they make so much more sense. Because then if you and I want to have 2 triple IPAs or 6 IPAs or 100 shots of lager, then we can do that, and you're still in the comfort of your own home.
The IPA night, of course, the last one I did around your place with Ananda and Kier and Pat. I think there were 5 of us. I can't remember. That was it. I was like, oh, well, it didn't bother me that much that I was only having a couple of sips of each because they were IPAs and I wasn't loving them anyway. But if these were all beautiful beers, and I'd be like, oh no,
what?
I can only have a couple of sips. I mean, Kier was loving it, gratefully receiving everything that I threw at him because I said I can only have a couple of these and a couple of sips. You have to have the rest.
I did. We offered Kier a ride home. I think Brittany gave him a ride home. We both went, but it was I was offering some rides. Yeah. You're right. If it was a night where we said, here, we're gonna try 6 smoky coffee stouts. And he said, oh, this is really good, and I can only have 3 sips. Oh,
but as a counter to that, as we well know, you can't get. There aren't 6 beautiful smoky coffee stouts available in Nova Scotia. Well, maybe they're getting there, but and if there was, we certainly wouldn't throw them and get rid of them all in one night like we do the IPAs. We would savor them.
We've brought this up, and I think I've vaguely planned for it. Well, I haven't fully planned for it, but sort of a best of night. I wondered about that. Yeah. Sort of have and that would be a good one for special guests because it would be curious. You spent a lot of time, not a lot of time, but you spent some time last week talking to Rob and mentioning, hey, have you tried the vanilla porter? We really like it, and he says, oh, no, I haven't. So I wonder what would happen if we got our hands on some of our favorites that are a little bit more difficult to come by. For example, the Big Papa Stout from out in Candid, out in Antigonish. If we brought that back here to the Valley and we had some of the guys here and we said, all right, you're going to try this because you might not maybe the brewers drive around all the time. Maybe they go to festivals and big things, and it's the enormous craft brew jamboree. I want to say maybe something in the city, and everyone brings their best ones, and you try them all. But
yeah,
I feel like right now I'm still at the phase of trying to convince my friends to try these delicious beers, and I've convinced a number of people to make the switch over to the Toller Gold, and I still credit my brother-in-law for sending me on that one. But the one that I turned a few heads has been the Marigold Blonde from Sober Island. Just this beautiful, crisp, golden, easy drinking blonde ale. And it's so good. And the old biddy's red, same thing. So just finding the favorites, and then I start bringing my favorites to friends, saying, "You should try this. I can get this in a lot of different places."
I am having to show incredible restraint, both Rebecca and I, because we both, even though Propeller, as was pointed out now, they're hardly a microbrewery anymore. They're certainly one of the they're a big hitter.
They don't need us.
No, and they've got a huge range now of beers and seasonal ales. It's wonderful. But I have had now, I still have 1 can of Nanaimo, which, if you remember, prior to Christmas when we had Kier on the show, And I said, "Oh, you must try the Nanaimo." I said, "What I'll do is I've got I will keep it for you."
Mm.
I'm like, I've got this one can of delicious, one of the best beers I've ever tasted in Nova Scotia, and it's just
Speaking of
crying
having
out
your
to be
words
drunk.
recorded against you, I mean, yeah, it's right there. I
I
could
know.
go back and you
I
promised. You
totally
said.
said that. And, and of course, there's no more available because it's a seasonal ale. And then
Yeah.
once they're all dried up in the stores, there ain't no more until next year. Hopefully, they're going to make some more of it next year. So I've got this can that I promised to Kier. And what would be the horror of that is, as lovely as we think it is, if we gave it to him and got his feedback afterwards, he said, "Yeah, I didn't care for it."
Well,
I mean, I've been horrified by that.
so the solution there is to
Yeah.
go and be in the same place with him to try it.
Oh yeah.
That's
I like this.
that's what I do with people, and I say, hey, you should try this beer. And I sit there with them, and if they take, the top 3 sips off of the Diablo Mexican Lager jalapeno one and say, ooh, I don't much care for that, and push it back, I say, well, all right, thank you very much, and I'll just have this myself. So I also suspect that it might not be Kier's cup of tea, because he does side over more towards a hoppy side of thing. And in fact,
Yeah.
I'm now curious as to our IPA fans, what they would think of these double IPAs, because that did not taste like what I was expecting a double IPA to taste like. That was outstanding. I'm having a hard time leaving a single finger at the bottom to compare it to our second entry.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because otherwise I'd have just failed and then thought, oh yeah, I was supposed to leave a couple of fingers there.
It's usually me that forgets.
I'm not only getting the caramel now at the back, Ross. I'm getting it right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because my mouth now is in tuned with it, and I think it's coated now. It's that lovely maltiness and that lovely sweet, and therefore it's every sip of it I'm tasting now is that lovely sweet maltiness. The hops barely even register with me. It's so smooth. Oh, this is good.
Big Malt Energy, Horton Ridge Malt Company. Here we go. We'll see. The closest I can get is some untapped reviews. Apparently, a double dry hopped East Coast style double IPA, bursting with tropical fruit and citrus. It's not bursting with tropical fruit or citrus.
I don't think so.
No.
It might have. I mean,
man,
okay, well,
that's so good. Bam. I'm so glad I'm reading some of these. We're far more loquacious than this. So bold and so hoppy, and 7.2, but not boozy. It's damn good. In fact, it's better than the last batch I tried. I don't agree with the hoppiness. Well balanced citrus notes. This is the first one that I agree with.
Well, totally well balanced. It's not laden with hops at all. Quite the opposite. It's very subtly hopped. Sorry. Let me backtrack there. It's not subtly hopped. It's subtly tasting of hops. Clearly, there's more hops in this than there would be in a single malt. But it's so well balanced that the hops aren't. They're not so evident when you're drinking it. It's not bitter. It's not sour. It's nothing like that. It's just wonderful.
I got something. I went on the internet and I got so excited as I'm scrolling through trying to see Atlantic Canada Beer Blog, but they mention malts from Horton Ridge. They don't mention the specific DIPA. There's a few entries in it. There's Canada Beer Maps. Horton Ridge has it, but it doesn't have anything on the big energy or the big Malt Energy. And then here we go, a small shop, a double IPA from both Horton Ridge. Oh, okay. Well, this seems really interesting. This seems exactly what we're talking about. Oh, it's a link to Drink Nova Scotia Dry's YouTube page. The preview to the live stream that I posted yesterday is one of the search results, top 5 of me trying to find out more about this beer. And I think there's some bizarre self-actualizing energy going on there that I'm not going to think about too hard right now. But I have to put the phone. I have to put the internet down. Am I starting to feel a 7.2 IPA out of 355 milliliters? I feel like I ate a decent supper tonight, but holy cow. Is it warm?
I had a pizza. I threw a full pizza in me in about a minute before I came on the air with you on the way
Full
on.
pizza
Obviously, I
folding.
finished work, showered, and Rebecca had made a pizza, and I walloped it down. And I'm bloody glad I did because I'm also feeling that already. And
Okay.
it's only a 355 can. I've not even finished it.
Okay.
So,
Good.
and there's nothing better to
It's
mop
not
up.
just me.
Yeah. No, bread, a nice bready-based pizza, I think is the best thing I could have had in preparation for this.
You are correct. Either something or like a big pasta meal. Certainly, there's something we should check out. Is it carbohydrates or protein that is better to drink before you get into the high alcohol whatnot? So on that note, definitely moving from a 7.2. Luckily, we get to go up to the next one. But for the 7.2 for the double IPA for the Horton Ridge, I am giving that high marks.
Me too.
Because that was excellent. That was very, very good. I am very impressed with what's going on up there because not only, even if the caramel is the wrong flavor for a double IPA, I don't care. But since we can't really find a description, it's difficult to judge it based on how it describes itself. There's nothing written on the can other than Big Malt DIPA. So, Big Malt. Depending on where you get the caramel flavor from. Was it a caramel malt? Then, holy cow, outstanding. I still think I'm going north of 9. Not far north.
9?
9.2.
Why is it might get a bit dull now, but I kind of find myself always agreeing with you. Clearly our beer tastes are so similar that it's somewhat boring all the time to agree with everything you say about when it comes to judging or giving a beer a mark. I can only remember 1 or 2 times where I'm like, yeah, I don't like it as much as you. Other than that, I'm always in there. Maybe my marks aren't as high as yours, but I'm always agreeing.
You're a bit more harsh. I'm more generous, but we're definitely not the Siskel and Ebert. I don't think we're sort of like if it was Siskel and Siskel. But the reason that I invited you to come and do this is because we would go out and we would try beers at the pubs, and you and I would have a good conversation and a good laugh about what we were drinking, and I feel like we both enjoy the same types, styles of things. Where I don't think this would be as enjoyable if I had someone on every week saying, "Oh, I can't drink that. That's I'm not drinking a brown ale. Oh, this is gross. Give me an IPA. I need something far more hoppy than this." And I feel like wouldn't that get old after a while? We certainly gravitate towards more interesting beers, but at the same time, I don't think it's boring because we both are on a very similar expedition / adventure of expanding our beer palate or trying something new. We're not afraid to try something new.
You sold
Me.
I'm completely revising my idea. It's perfect. This isn't boring. It's wonderful that we both agree with one another all the time. You just won me over. Ross, I'm giving this 4. I'm going to do that thing that you do. 4 and double IPA. This is a 9 for me. Ooh. Out of 10. If the score was this crazy revolutionary scoring of 10, I would give it a 9 as well. If just for a beer itself, I would give it an 8. Does that make any sense?
I'm not sure. I think I would still give it the same score for a beer as for a DIPA, but only because there was no description and I'm not a double IPA aficionado. It always comes out. I'm not even sure. I don't think I know what I'm talking about. I'm quite certain I don't know what I'm talking about.
Aficionado. Your goldfishianado.
The goldfishianado, yes.
Yeah, I got my code.
Oh, I'm writing that down. That's such a good band name, the Goldfishianados.
Hey, well, listen, man, I want the money. I want the revenue from that, at least some of it, anyway.
No one gets any money from coming up with cool band names.
No, nor do the bands anymore either for actually performing. So, no, that's true. Unless you're on... No, I was going to say Spotify, but of course not. No one gets any money off Spotify. It's the devil.
Aficionado. F-I-C-I-O-N? A-D-O?
Yeah.
Aficionado?
It says C, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gold
Are you
aficionados.
looking up band names? Are you just seeing whether it's already been taken?
No, I'm just adding it to my list, to my ever growing ongoing list
Okay.
of all the different band names. I know.
I spy with my little eye another double IPA
I
on
know.
the table.
And
This is
good
good.
news, it's stronger.
Yeah, it's
The Smokehouse Nano Brewery out of Berwick, Nova Scotia, has an interesting title. You just want to knock all your water onto the floor, don't you? The Big Boy Kickstarter DIPA. Which I have questions, but so they are the Nano Brewery. They call themselves the Smokehouse Nano Brewery. It's right there in the name. Once bustling smokehouse. Nope, that's not the one I want. There we go. Big Boy Kickstarter. A heavily hopped DIPA with enormous amounts of North American hops and a good dose of local honey. This DIPA is surprisingly smooth and well balanced with a nice juicy hop profile. Could the caramel in the Horton Ridge one be attributed to honey? Maybe, but it was certainly, it was a malty. It was on the maltier side of things, which leads me towards caramel. But
yeah.
the other thing about the Smokehouse Brewery, the Big Boy Kickstarter dip, was when I posted that we were drinking these two, we did get a comment of someone saying the Big Boy Kickstarter DIPA is their go-to beer right now. Definitely one of their favorites.
The person that posted it said it was their go-to beer.
Yeah.
Really, a 9%. Hey, listen to me. I'm thinking that's a bit strong, and yet I've been drinking that 10% Nanaimo from Propeller like
Well,
it's
there you
water.
go. Yep.
Yeah,
So
fair
this
enough.
one's going to be easy.
It will. This will be probably tasteless, I'd imagine, in comparison.
Just be tap water.
It must be tough.
But it is saying some things that are reminding me of what we were tasting in the Horton Ridge one. It is unfortunate that this one gets a description, but the Horton Ridge one, we couldn't find one. A heavily hopped DIPA with enormous amounts of North American hops, not very specific, good dose of local honey, surprisingly smooth, well-balanced, nice juicy hop profile. So similar. I don't think anyone's going outside the box and doing a tangerine flavored DIPA or anything like that. So that's cool. Now the Big Boy Kickstarter makes me ask questions. Two reasons. Kickstarter is all one word, and that is the website where you fund projects to make them go. So like, oh, I've started a Kickstarter for my small business, and people can put funds in, and they help me make enough money. And, oh yeah, we've made $10,000, so we're going to go ahead with this project.
Oh, I see.
However, the single word of Big Boy. Now, I might just be just someone who really appreciates the Warren Beatty movie, but I immediately go to Big Boy Caprice from the Dick Tracy cartoons.
Can you see my
confused face? Yes.
Puzzled face. Yeah. I've not seen Dick Tracy, but are you saying on Dick Tracy there's a guy called Big Boy? Because these are all very phallic.
Big Boy Caprice was the name of the character. He was the Al Capone. The big boy was the big boy of all. He was the boss of all the bosses. And
Did Pacino?
He was played by Al Pacino in the movie.
Okay, interesting.
I recently rewatched it, and I still am as confused by it, but I still love it. It's still so good.
Is it really? I've never seen it.
Only to me. It's one of those things that maybe only I love it. A face only a mother could love. A movie only Warren Beatty could direct.
Oh, okay. This doesn't smell as smelly. It's not got as much of a smell as the other one. It's quite subtle. And the other one's.
I feel like this one is the exact same. That sort of, yes, I smell hoppy, but no, I don't smell offensively hoppy. Just there's going to be hops, so
even smelling the empty can of the other one, I can smell it's more fragrant. This one smells. Okay. Hey, doesn't mean to say it's going to taste. Doesn't mean to say it's going to taste inferior. That's not what I'm going to get at. But it doesn't smell quite as scenty as the Horton Ridge.
The Big Boy Kickstarter does list the IBUs. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this number?
Hit me, big boy.
Triple digits.
Triple digit?
It is a 120 IBU.
That's bitter AF.
Yes. I think when talking to Rob, he mentioned the really high IBUs like 80 plus. And I thought, oh, yes, because usually when we get a 40 IBU, I think this one's going to have some stonk to it. 120. And now I wish that the Horton Ridge one told me their IBU so I could have something to compare it to, but there's nothing on this. I want to call them up. Say, excuse me.
Where are you seeing? I can't see it on the can.
To the lower left. It's right under 9% ABV.
Oh, yeah, right on the front. For some reason, I was looking on the back, looking for some information on the back. It's right there on the front. Good grief. Okay, this might be the bitteriest beer I've had with you. Unless you're really sad and you go back through the 190 beers that you've done so far as a bit of homework between now and next week. Like you don't need it because you've only got a 1-year-old kid and a job. And a wife and everything, and then just find out the IBUs on all the beers that you.
Oh my! Oh yeah, that would be so good for my database and my spreadsheets and everything. Oh, why haven't I done that? Whatever.
Ultra nerdy.
They're not all listed. I guess would be my defense.
Yeah.
Is the head on your beer going away? I have a very thin layer. There's not much buble action going on in there. It was kind of short-lived.
It kind of kick-started me to actually pour the thing because I hadn't even poured it. It was still sat there in the can. This is scary. This isn't going to fit in my German glass. I know it's not because
I have cough.
Okay.
I have the Smokehouse Nano Brewery pint glass of 16 ounces because most of them you can only get the 16 ounce. Big shout outs to anyone selling a 20. But this is one of my 16s, sadly.
Lovely and clear. I actually, having said that, of course, I didn't get it in, so the stuff nestled in the bottom of the can that would cloudy it up a little bit more.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? Wait. I can brim it. Oh, there's the rest of the sea monkeys. There you go.
They're in there, are they? Okay.
Well, interesting. It did cloudy it up ever so slightly. I'm afraid to lift it to show you. There.
Good job, Ross.
Right to the top. What's that word that you like saying?
Not the meniscus, because you've pointed out that I'm wrong when I say the meniscus. Not wrong. Erroneous. Incorrect.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Hey, look. I got it in. I did. I got it all in.
Lovely.
Oh, look at that. And it did cloudy it a teeny bit, but there's not much.
Just a tad. It's still rather clear, though, isn't it? Yeah. Right.
It is surprising. Yes.
Full can, full 473 in our glasses here. Cheers.
Yes, I've just found out what this is. Cheers. Mmm.
Oh. Okay, that's sharp. What? Oh, I've not had a beer that's bitter up front like that.
Oh. Right from the word go, I was going. Oh, that's. But.
Okay, and there's the honey.
You mean it goes away?
There's the honey. The honey is where the caramel was in the other one. Ooh, so it's sharp and 9% up front. It says, guess what? Yeah. You're having a shot, but we are giving you a honey chaser to this shot. Oh.
It's quite an experience. That was that first big swig. It's like what are they called? In the UK we have lockets, which are honey scented soft throat lozenges.
Oh, like a Halls.
Oh yeah, I guess like a Halls. Yeah.
That eucalyptus burn, that bit of a, it's all there. That throat, that cough medicine.
It doesn't burn at all. That's the thing about lockets. They're so honeyish that they trickle down your throat with their sweetness. And
it does at the end, but this one the first taste is a burn. It starts at a burn. It's the reverse of some of the other strong ones.
Then it soothes it later on with the honey lockets, which go and put the fire out immediately.
This is a cough medicine. This is it's a lozenge beer.
Does it ever taste stronger than the other one, though? Flipping heck.
Yes, you can taste the strength in this one.
Yeah.
Whose beer is this go-to?
Yeah, I was about to say, and this is their go-to beer. Wow, they are some serious bitter hoppy lovers.
Well, I'll tell you what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
Facts.
Oh, okay.
It reminds me of Kier's favorite 10% beer. 10% imported, wildly...
That was a nice noise.
Well...
Did you just feed some of your son that double IPA after all?
No.
That's what it sounds.
No, he's been drinking milk, and he has just redistributed his milk.
I think
to not be within his stomach as much anymore, or at least as far as it got in his esophagus.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have started with all the cookies, huh? All right, so milk and cookies. Apparently, he's not into the milk and cookies. But here I am drinking a 9.0 double IPA,
which tastes like facts.
Probably good that we didn't join each other in our beverages. What do you think about that? Yeah,
Ross.
Then we'll clean you up in a minute.
I would say, if you're okay with that, without immediately going to your son and things. I couldn't drink much of this.
I would definitely get a second of the Horton Ridge. You drink a pint of the Horton Ridge, and they came around and said, "You want another of that?" I'd say, "Yeah, I do." But this 9, I don't think I could do another one of these.
This is what I'm saying. This is hard work. Those other double IPAs that we had, where we both said this is really smooth, it's surprising, and it blew our minds. This is more in keeping with what I kind of thought a double IPA would taste like before.
There's more of a burn.
Far hoppier up front, and I made an audible noise, and that was me going, "Wow!" while I was swigging it.
Having a hard time getting this in.
Yeah, it helps a little bit at the end. It goes away, but it's. I think you've got to get past that first bit and the first mouth. This is hard work.
I can agree.
This is more hoppy. People that love smashes and IPAs, I think they would really love this. But it's hurting me a bit.
That might explain that person's comment. So maybe this is a Kier IPA. Yes, I like the bitter stuff, therefore this is quite good. I think Kier would love this. I think he would like the Malt House one less. But it does say enormous amounts of North American hops, definitely. Good dose of local honey. I am digging the honey flavor on the tail end. It does say surprisingly smooth, well-balanced, and a juicy hop profile. I mean, fair enough. It does what it says on the can.
It says on the tin. Yeah, absolutely. Every bit of it. Yeah, every bit of it. It's definitely less malty. If they're, clearly they've got the malt in there because it is so strong. But I'm not getting any of the honey. Yes, I'm getting the sweetness of that, but it's basically been slaughtered up front by the hops a bit, and it's a little bit difficult for me to drink this one. I'll get through it.
I've got this left. I'm plowing through.
Right, I'm a big boy. I can do this.
Soldier on. Chin up. Keep a stiff upper lip, old boy. Chocks away.
Wow.
What are my other strange Britishisms? bunch of monkeys on your ceiling, sir. Grab your egg and falls and let's get the bacon delivered.
What's that from? Not Blackadder.
Nope. It's Python.
Is it?
Yep. 4th season. One of my favorite episodes of Flying Circus of all time. And the sketch is called RAF, Royal Air Force, sorry, Banter. Because he runs in and he says, Or says, morning, squadron leader. How was it out there? I said, it was top hole. Am I going to get this wrong? I have known this for my whole life, and I'm too highly alcoholized beers in, so it was top hole. How does it start? I'll get the rest of it if I can get where it starts. Because it's Eric Idle just responding to when someone says, what's going on out there? And he says, Bally Jerry, pranged his kite, right in the how's your father. Harry Blighter, Dicky Birdied, feathered back in his Sammy, took a waspy, flipped over on his Betty Hoppers, and caught his can in the Bertie. And they all look at him.
And they all look at him and say, "Sorry, mate, I'm not with you." And he starts repeating. Yes, I have seen
Bally Jerry, pranged his kite, right in the how's your father. Harry Blighter, Dicky Birdied, feathered back in his Sammy, took a waspy, flipped over on his Betty Hoppers, and caught his can in the Bertie. I said, no, don't understand it at all. And then Palin comes running in. Michael Palin comes running in, and he has the classic, bunch of monkeys on your ceiling, sir. Grab your egg and fours and let's get the bacon delivered. Man, did you understand a word of that? No, I didn't get a word of what he's talking about. I don't know why. Yeah, I have. There are certain comedic things that I have absolutely committed to memory, and that sketch happens to be one of them.
Mm. You'll do that with your on stage, I'm sure, at the Broken Leg Theatre one night.
I'd love to. But here's a funny thing that we did one time. We were trying to produce a show. There was a guy coming to town, and we wanted to produce a show, but he got stuck trying to come across in a hurricane. So the weather was bad, couldn't get here. So we had to come up with what'll we do instead. So we came out and we said, listen, everyone, we're happy to give everyone their money back. You bought tickets for a show and it's not going to be this. But what we've put in place instead is a combination of us and some of our sketches that we've written. But we started doing what we called, it was the sketch comedy equivalent of cover songs. And we started performing sketches that we'd seen elsewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that one night we did do the Four Yorkshiremen. We did do it properly. I mean, we had the scripts out in front of us because we were not prepared whatsoever. But we've done this a few times, and I like the concept of the cover sketch. We've gone
from the Secret Policeman's Ball. That was. I could barely see you, Ross. This beer has gone right to my head.
Oh, and you ate a whole pizza.
I ate a whole pizza. This is kicked the crap out of me. This double IPA by Big Boy. No, it's not by Big Boy. I'm talking nonsense. By Smokehouse.
Big Boy Caprice's Smokehouse DIPA. Yeah, I know.
Right. It's really strong. It done everything that it said it was going to do on the can and more. But
yeah.
But
you're right. But
I'm never ever going to have another one of them because I wouldn't. I'm not this hoppy. I'm not this hop fan that this is clearly is aimed at, and it's not smooth like any of the others. I find this incredibly difficult to drink.
Is it for people that like a DIPA though? So is this the ultimate double IPA for people who like an IPA and a double IPA? It's, to me, it's like I'm trying to give it what it's supposed to be. Maybe it's not my favorite, but for who this is advertised towards, it might be near perfection.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. It does have that little honey help at the end, which helps me get it down my throat. So thank God it does, because if it didn't, and the hops were like that all the way through, and the bitterness. Is that your first, or you're swilling around your glass? Is that the big boy you're just finishing off, or the first one?
Oh,
Okay, you've got back the other one.
That was my last splash of the Horton Ridge one, and
yeah. Yes, that's what I'm thinking here. That is a far more easy to drink and smooth beer.
Yes.
However, as you were pointing out, this is a double IPA and is aimed at the hotheads among us, and as a result, I'm pretty sure they would love this. They would probably love this.
And what I like is trying these both. Is when someone says to me, "Hey, I'm going for a new double IPA. What should I try?" If Kier is asking me, I will say, "Kier, you need to get the Smokehouse Big Boy Kickstarter."
Yeah.
If my friend John, who loves a good malty stout, is asking me, I will say, "John, you need to go to the Horton Ridge Malt House." I got them sold on the. Oh, what was their stout called? The Bar Dog Stout. I keep bringing that to everything. So honestly, I might... Oh, no, wait. It's going to be a different crowd. I'm heading down to visit some of my my city friends this coming weekend, and I'm trying to figure out what to bring them because they're... I don't want to say uppity, but they have a different beer profile favor than myself. Which is why I try to feel them out with things like the Toller Gold and the Marigold Blonde. So I might try to pip one or two of these again.
The problem, I can hardly put one letter after the other at the moment.
Oh.
The problem being that because you and I both gave the Horton Ridge Malt House Double IPA a 9. And for a double IPA, and now we've gone and said this is what probably the double IPA crowd are hoping for. Hoppy as hell, bitter.
It could be the perfect double IPA for hopheads.
Absolutely.
It's an 8.7 for me, personally.
I can't give it anything like that because I'm finding it difficult to drink.
I'm trying to appreciate it as I find it difficult to do. As I'm saying, I would not order a second one. I say, but I know what you're doing, and I get that you've done it right.
Yeah, I get it. I totally. If it's not a 10 out of 10 for a double IPA, I don't know what it is for the people that love this kind of thing. I
love that you want to give it a 10 out of 10 for people that you don't understand.
I don't understand why they would like this.
You crazy jackasses are going to call this a 10 out of 10, and good on you. Buy it and get it the hell away from me.
For a beer, oh my God, I'm drinking it and I've almost finished it because I'm a stubborn old mule and I will finish this beer. But if someone handed me this in a pub and said, "Here, would you like to try a little 4-ounce glass of this in a flight?" I would try that, and then I would say, "Oh God, no, I'm not having a pint of that." Oh. But seeing as we're doing this for science, I'm drinking it all. Beer-wise, beer taste-wise, Ross.
Science appreciates you, I gotta say. I think as a whole, science is quite happy that you're finishing your strange 9% beer.
Yeah, I can barely get through it. It's really hard for me.
Science on the whole salutes you.
I'll give it 10 out of 10 for a double IPA, or as near as damn it makes perfect. For a beer that I like, I'd give it about 2 because it's almost undrinkable. And the other one, oh shit! I'd forgotten. I left the other one. Oh, thank goodness. I can go back.
You get a swig. You get a swig left, and oh my God, you saw the look on my face when I finished that. Look, and
okay, so there's my big. I finished the big boy. I'm going back to the Horton Ridge one, and this is going to feel like
so much happiness going back to the Horton Ridge.
You know when you've when you feel really sick in the morning after a few beers and you've got that horrible gastric taste and maybe you've thrown up, I don't know, just like your son just did. And the next day you might get up and you might think, I'm going to have something like what's that, Pepto-Bismol or something. It's going to settle your stomach a little bit. This might just be a Pepto-Bismol.
I'll tell you what I was about to equate it to. That going back to the Horton Ridge, it's like showing up at your high school reunion after you got a raise. You just walk in, you just kick the door. You don't care what everyone's looking at you. I'm here.
Yeah.
I have no problems or issues or anything. The world is wonderful. Get out of my face. Does that not feel like it just solved everything?
It's just can you believe a 7.2 beer just put the fire out of the 9%?
Oh my! I'll need to comment on that person that says the Big Boy Kickstarter is my go-to. I will say, you know what? I appreciate if you're an IBU lover, but holy cow, the Horton Ridge one just kicked the pants off it. And let me actually, we still have, if I'm not mistaken, I think there's more DIPAs in the cabinet.
Is there really?
I might be crazy. I seem to be crazy. Yes, I'm definitely crazy. There are just there's some IPAs. There's a triple IPA still down there. We need to find another one to compare with that one. But the DIPAs are sneaking into the LC. So if you go into any of the LCs, there are a lot of double IPAs. So we can get back to this one. We got a number of browns to get through. We need to I think the Annapolis Brewing Brown was the one that exploded for you, and you had to I forget what happened. You tried to drink it down.
We've got Americans to thank for the double IPA. It's one of their creations. The IPA, of course, came from the UK. The double IPA, Americans went, we'll kick this up and we'll give you a double IPA. I don't know who was responsible for the triple. Maybe they did too. I don't know. I'm so glad that Mother Nature is responsible for water, is what I'm drinking now, because just to kind of take that acid away.
That's quitter talk. DIPA. I went to the internet. DIPA is an amped up version of India Pale Ale, characterized by a rich, complex flavor profile with notes of citrus, pine, resinous hops, bolder, hoppier, stronger, fitter, happier, more productive in alcohol content. Many double IPAs are also dry hopped, which adds an extra layer of hop aroma and flavor, not for the faint-hearted. Better, faster, stronger, harder, Daft Punk, Radiohead references. It is a sonorous follow-up to your seminal album.
Your sophomore effort.
Yes,
if you will.
I suppose so. Yeah. You come into town, you kick down the saloon doors with your IPA. Yeah. And win the town favor. But when the next bad guy comes to town, you have to go and shoot him out in the main street. That's your double IPA.
And on that note, on that bombshell,
well, it's a Buster Scruggs situation. Tell me
I need to watch that movie again.
Yeah.
Good night, mate.
Good night.
I'm off for another pizza.
I'm gonna need another pizza after this. I need to, I guess scrutinize and then tidy up my son who has vomited places. You're very lucky that I can't see everywhere you vomit. It's probably... Well, we'll not even scrutinize on that. The one thing I was gonna mention was sitting here drinking a 7.2 and a 9.0 beer, watching my son throw up a good third of his food and drink that he's been having, and I thought, oh, that's right. I have nearly zero gag reflex right now, and I can attribute that to living in residence and eating communally amongst a bunch of absolute barbarians. in university. I recommend it for everybody. To get rid of that. And then you are absolutely immune to vomit, because everyone will tell you the worst stories possible. Thank you very much to my co-host Ian for being here tonight. Thank you to Horton Ridge and to Smokehouse Brewery for making the beers that you made. Hopefully talking to everybody in the brewers there soon. We've got a few things coming up in the hopper, hopefully soon. But we're back here every week, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. here over in the Atlantic Standard Time. I don't think I've ever mentioned the time zone, but that's because we cater ourselves to Nova Scotia. You can find our podcast at every podcasty place, Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon, I think. Or you can check out the YouTube page, youtube.com/@drinknsdry, or go directly to the site, which is drinkns.unsupervised.beer. Everything's just a little bit up in the air. Hopefully we'll have some links to everything. But we're, again, back here every Tuesday night, live 8 p.m. Hopefully to see everyone next week. But thank you for joining us.